Alright, it is day 19 of Vlogoween. Oh, this month is going by fast. Anyways, I thought I would talk about some of my favorite lyrically haunting songs. Songs with lyrics that really have captivated me and made me think and stuff like that. So it's not always going to be like dark music or dark lyrics and stuff, but stuff that just really drew me in. So, this is not going to be like a numbered list. I don't even know how many songs I'm going to put on here, but it's probably going to be a few because I'm very much a lyrics person. Anyways, my first song here is Don't Leave Home by Dido. So, Dido's been one of my favorite, if not my favorite artists for years. And while I enjoy her music, the Life for Rent album was never my favorite, but in recent years, it's really grown on me more than it has in the past. But I've always loved Don't Leave Home, especially after finding out what the song actually is about. It just made the song even better, in my opinion. So, this song, a lot of people have thought is a love song, but even if you didn't know the actual meaning of it, the lyrics are kind of dark in a way. Um, the first verse ends with close the blinds and shut the door. You won't need other friends anymore. Um, the beginning is like a ghost, don't need a key, your best friend I've come to be. So, like, the beginning of the first verse sounds like, okay, these people are friends, or, two people love each other, but then it's like you don't need other friends. So even if it wasn't about what it's supposed to be, or what she says it's about, it doesn't sound like a very healthy relationship, right? We have some control going on here. And the song is actually about addiction. And when you listen to it, it's from the point of view of the thing the person is addicted to, right? I guess you could say drugs or alcohol, but she just specifically says addiction. So I guess it's any kind of addiction, but it sounds more like along those lines. And it is um, convincing this person that they are their safety. That's literally the line in the chorus, I will be your safety. If you're cold, I'll keep you warm. If you're low, just hold on because I will be your safety. Don't leave home. So, yeah, this one really stands out. Like I said, um, it's always been my favorite on Life Rent, and I think it's overall one of the best songs she's done. Um, it's written with her brother Rollo, and I always think they make like a really good writing team. The video to this is well done too. I don't really care about music videos all that much. Not that I hate most of them, I just don't care all that much. But this one I think is well done, and it makes sense if you know what the song is about. Hello by Evanescence. So this one is a very short song. If you take out the instrumentals in it, it's almost like a short poem. So this was inspired by the death of Amy Lee's sister. She lost her sister when she was very young. I think, if I remember correctly, she had some condition um, with that. I think like epilepsy and stuff. And I think Amy might have been like 6 and her sister was 3. So she was very young, and this is basically about a person's first experience with death, right? Because like at 6, 7, you're like at the age of reasoning. I believe that's when that happens, like when you are able to understand certain concepts. I think it's around like 6, 7, maybe 8, when you really have a grasp on things like what death really is and stuff. And I think she might have been at school when she found out that her sister had passed. And the song basically is, from my perspective, her being in her own head, processing this, her mind telling her that, you know, it's not broken, she's trying to hide from the truth, and it's just basically, a coping mechanism in a way. You're taking this kind of thing in, especially at a young age. You're just, now understanding what this actually means and everything. Because it says in the song, "Don't try to fix me, I'm not broken. I'm the lie living for you so you can hide. I'm all that's left of yesterday." So, she's trying to process this unbelievable thing, and she's just a child. And, obviously, she wants to hide from this horrible thing, and she's kind of like hiding it in her mind and everything. And, it's her mind telling her that she's not broken. So, very beautiful song, very sad. Hide and Seek by Imogen Heap. This is one of my favorite songs lyrically, and I also love the way it's sung and just all put together and everything. It's not a fast song, it's very slow moving, but it's got this interesting flow to it. It's one of the most poetic things I've listened to in music. Like, a lot of people talk about poetry and lyrics and everything, but this is one of the ones I think you can remove all music from and read it as a poem, and it's still fantastic. And it being put with music and everything just makes it like 10 times better, in my opinion. So, I don't know if this ever been confirmed, but a lot of people believe this is about her parents' divorce, which makes a lot of sense, right? When you have lines like, "Where are we? What the hell is going on? Crop circles in the carpet, sinking feeling, spin me round again, this can't be happening." So, some believe crop circles in the carpet is like, furniture being moved, because, the indentations that, you have from couches and stuff. So it's like people moving away from each other. In the second verse, there is oily marks on walls where pleasure moments hung. So removing picture frames and stuff. So there's like this image of people moving away from each other, life changing, probably abruptly, if I can pronounce words correctly. That'd be good. But yeah, this is just such a beautiful song with, kind of a sad subject matter, because even if it isn't about divorce, it is about, you know, in my opinion, something happening in somebody's life that they had no say over, and this other person just decided that this was what's best without, basically consulting them and everything. So, it's kind of about that life change and everything, and kind of the anger that comes with it, because, it's not like this hard, like, metal song or anything, but you hear it towards the end, especially with that famous "what you say" part that's been used in other songs. You know, "What you say that you only meant well, of course you did. What you say that it's just what we need and you decided this." So, yeah, this is about, a change in somebody's life that, you know, maybe they had no say on. For One Day from Safe Trip Home. So I picked this one because it's not talked enough about, in my opinion. Even amongst Dido fans, Safe Trip Home was really underrated. Um, and I know people talk about her having sad music and everything, but this is probably her saddest. I mean, a lot of it came after the death of her father, which the song um, has to do with. So, she didn't promote this album the way she did the other ones. There was no tours or anything, no concerts and stuff. Because, most of it was very personal songs and everything. For One Day is not on like the actual like full album and everything. It's like if you got like the deluxe edition, it's like on the second one. So it's not one of her more common songs, I guess you would say. But it's just so simple yet beautifully sad. Because some of the lyrics are, if I had the chance for one more day with you, away from all these wires and tubes they stuck on you, I'd buy you an early beer, we'd watch a game, we'd talk of like work and heartbreak, So it's basically her wanting her father to get better, knowing that he's not, and just wanting a normal day, away from the thought of his illness and being in the hospital and stuff. She just wants to, spend time with her dad and do the things that they would usually do, like have a beer and talk about work and life and everything. But, he's stuck there with tubes and everything because I think her father died from lupus. I can't be too sure, but he did die from an illness. So, I believe she said like during like her first and second album, he was getting sick and everything. So, you know, she's losing this time with him and everything and just wanting to go back to things being normal. But, that doesn't happen. Like, I've lost people from illnesses and stuff, like cancer and stuff. And, they, you lose time with people, they become not what they were because they're sick and they can't live like they used to. And, you just want that person back. And it's just very sad. I think this is one of the only ones that she's written by herself because she does write her own songs and stuff, but she collaborates with a lot of people. Like, she likes to write with her brother a lot, but I think this is one of the ones that she solely has songwriting credit on. And it's just so, like I said, just simply and it's just simply beautiful, poetic, and everything. Lithium is probably one of the most beautifully haunting songs Evanescence has ever done. I love the instrumentation. I love the way her voice sounds in this. Again, this video is about lyrics, and the lyrics are amazing. Fallen has a special place in my heart, as one of the CDs that got me basically into rock music and everything. I mean, I liked songs before, but Evanescence really kicked it off. But The Open Door as a whole is really underrated in my opinion. They have so many fantastic songs. It's such a dark album and just like beautifully poetic and just atmospheric and everything. Lithium, basically, um, from what I gather from the lyrics and the fact that it's pretty much written about her ex, which I believe at the time was Sean Morgan from Seether, a band I also enjoy music from that will show up on this list as well. It basically is about being in love with somebody who doesn't treat you right. One of the lines in the song is just didn't drink enough to say you love me. My favorite line probably is, darling, I forgive you after all. Anything is better than to be alone. And, I think that speaks to a lot of people who've been in situations um, with people who don't treat them right, whether it is mental, verbal, physical, or all of the above, right? We want to believe that these people are just going through something, that they do actually love us like they said they do, and everything. And, most people don't want to be alone. They've experienced love, or what they think is love, and everything. And the thought of being without it is devastating. And then there's a whole thing about, people talk about working things out and stuff. And, sometimes you just can't, right? Sometimes people are toxic and they are bad for you and you deserve better. But it is a very dark place you get stuck in. And yeah, this song is just really just truthful in a lot of ways. This might be unpopular coming from an Evanescence fan, or at least somebody that was a fan of their older music, but I prefer the version of Broken without Amy Lee. I think she was a nice addition for like the music video and everything, and that version, but there's just something about the more acoustic, stripped down version that Seether, Sean Morgan themselves do. Not to saying there's not any kind of like rock bass to just him and his band doing the song, but I don't know. The Amy Lee version seems just a little bit more radio friendly, commercial, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like I like songs like that too. But Broken, from what I know, is written, or was written for his daughter. About missing her because uh, the band Seether is originally from South Africa, and when Sean moved over to the United States, I guess his wife didn't want to come with him, so they ended up divorcing, and she had the daughter and everything. And yeah, it's basically about him missing his daughter. I love the opening line. I wanted you to know I love the way you laugh. I want to hold you high and steal your pain away. It is just such a beautifully written song. And the instrumentation, especially the guitar and everything, just flows so beautifully with those lyrics. And I love songs that just have simple, personal lyrics and everything. Like, I like a lot of metaphorical lyrics and everything. I really do. But there's just something about taking simple words and just making a beautifully poetic, personal song that other people also can relate to. In my opinion, Buzzcut Season is the best song off of Pure Heroine, and one of Lord's best songs, period. The song, from what I know, has never been, described fully in its meaning. I know she's mentioned Buzzcut Season is like the summer, when boys will shave their heads, because it's summer and it's hot and everything. And to me, the song speaks about the idea of being young and enjoying life and just living in that bubble of, you know, the not knowing, the innocence of what actually goes on in the world, right? Um, the song starts out very interesting. I remember when your head caught flame, I caressed your scalp and kissed your brain. You said, well, baby, that's okay. It's buzz cut season anyway. So that's an interesting opening line. And then she talks about being on the bus, rewrite the bus with their knees pulled in. People should see how we're living. She talks about songs and being by the pool, but she also talks about explosions on TV, all the girls with their head inside a dream. Nothing's wrong if nothing's true. I live in a hologram with you. And yeah, somebody like on one of the comments was talking about basically, it's about that moment you live in when you're young and you don't really know the world yet, right? And there's nothing really in the song about like breakups or dying or anything, but it just has this sadness to it. And I think it's because it's the kind of song that makes you reflect on the time when you were younger and you just had fun in the summer and everything before, you knew about wars and bills and struggling and stuff like that, just really about childhood before the um, sadness of adulthood hits in. At least that's what I get out of the song. I think Almost Love Her by Fine Frenzy or Alison Sudol, I think that's how you say her name, is one of the few songs that I remember remember where I was when I first heard it. I was living in St. Charles, and I think I seen the video on VH1. Early morning is like one of the only times those channels actually play music. But anyways, um, yeah, I seen it and I instantly fell in love with the song and went to check out more of her music. The song is so heartbreaking. It is just so beautifully sad, and you really just feel for this woman. And I just love the way she rhymes things in the song, and it just flows really well, and it makes it even more heartbreaking. But like she's managed to make rhyming sad, poetic, and devastating. Um, Basically, this song is about a woman who was in love with a man and he didn't love her back, and she's, just haunted by those memories that they had, and she's having a hard time moving on. And, she knows he's moved on and he's probably just fine. But I love the opening line. Your fingertips across my skin, the palm trees swaying in the wind. Images, you sing me Spanish lullabies, the sweetest sadness in your eyes. Clever trick. I love that last line, right? The sweetest sadness in your eyes, clever trick. Because I think that's happened to a lot of us. We've had people, talk about how much they loved us and, they'd be sad and devastated without us, but then they go and hurt us in one way or another. And in the second verse, she talks about we walked along a crowded street. You took my hand and danced with me. Then in the last verse, she's talking about how she can't go to the ocean. She can't drive the streets at night without him on her mind. It's one of her best songs. It's one of the best breakup, um, almost love. I mean, it's called Almost Lover, so yeah, almost love songs. Before You Go by Louis Capaldi is probably one of the most Heartbreaking songs I've heard in recent years. The lyrics are just so heartbreaking. This was inspired by a conversation he had with his mother about his aunt who passed from suicide when he was, I think, 5 or 6, he said. And he was talking to her about how she felt and everything. And she told him, at first you feel angry at them and then at yourself for, not thinking of the right things to say, or the things that you should have said, the things that you should have done. You wonder, what you could have said or done to prevent that from happening. And, I just love the lyrics like, when you hurt under the surface, like troubled waters running cold, well, time will heal, but this won't. That is just so, heartbreaking. I mean, even for people who have lost people in other ways, that whole time will heal, but this won't thing just really hits home, you know. But, there are the lyrics like, our every moment I start to replace because now that they're gone, all I hear are the words that I needed to say. And then, of course, the chorus is equally as sad. So before you go, was there something I could have said to make your heart beat better? If only I had known you had a storm to weather. It kills me how your mind can make you feel so worthless. So yeah, this is definitely, a song about reflecting on, the things that could have been said, could have been done. And, you know, when you lose somebody, you always kind of think about those things. And, I can't imagine somebody having to go through something like that. How Big, How Blue, How Beautiful is on its way to become one of my favorite albums of all time. The whole thing is just energetic and sad and atmospheric and just lyrically amazing, poetic, metaphorical, personal. Uh, there's nothing skippable on this one, right? It's one you can listen to straight through. All the songs are excellent, but one that really sticks out to me is Various Storms and Saints. This one really sounds like it's, how do I put it? Like you're in the rain, like maybe it's just got done raining or it's going to start raining, and you have that smell in the air, that coolness. That's just the vibe the music and everything gives off, and the way she sings and how the lyrics go with it. It really just does make you think of storms, of rain. But basically, the song is about dealing with the aftermath of a breakup. So, it is a song about heartbreak and healing. Um, I know she's mentioned it was about, the ending of a relationship, and that's kind of what I get out of it, right? That, you're in this storm of emotions and feeling and healing and moving on. The song starts with, and the air was filled with furious storms and saints parading in the streets as banks began to break. I'm in the throes of it, in the belly of the beast. But you took your toll on me. I don't know why I don't just stand outside and scream. And there is, you had to have 'em, so you did. Some things you let go in order to live. All around you the buildings sway. Sing it out loud, what made us this way. I know you're bleeding, but you'll be okay. Yeah, I just absolutely love those lyrics. It's just the atmosphere of the song, the lyrics, just the way she sings. You can hear the heartbreak in her voice. It's just one of those songs that are just so well put together. Because there are some songs that I like the music more than the lyrics, even though I'm very much a lyrics person. And then there are other songs where the lyrics are really good, but the music could be a little bit different. But this is one of the ones where it's just the whole pack is just perfect. So, Girl Who Got Away so far has become my favorite Dido album. The Day Before We Went to War is the ending track on like the standard one because there is like a deluxe edition. And those songs are fantastic as well, but there's just something about the way she sings these very simple lyrics. And there's a lot of Dido songs that you don't know exactly what the inspiration for them is. You can kind of tell where they're going, but nothing has been like officially said. And by the lyrics of the song, I have a feeling it has to do with a certain tragedy that happened here in the United States now many years ago. Um, but in the opening, she's talking about all the towels on the floor, um, just floating in the light, the bed upstairs still unmade, music down the hall. So it sounds like, it's summer or it's warm and there's just regular things going on, right? You know, towels on the floor, beds unmade, people just probably in pools and, going through the house and just mundane things, right? But the way she sings about this is just, it has this heartbreaking tone to it. And then the chorus is, um, like a light hand on your back, welcoming you the day before we went to war. And then it gets into the second verse, which is what makes me think it is about, a certain thing. She talks about all the kids that played, the seas so still and calm, just the gentle goings on. No, I think it's blue as the cloudless sky, just the gentle hum of summer's going on, broken by the sudden rush of two planes, flying low and fast into the sun. So, you know, possibly a 9/11 reference. I'm not totally sure, but it definitely does sound like, the normal everyday goings on, enjoying the summer, being out on the water, just enjoying life, and then something devastating happens. And she sings it in such a sad way, but it is sad to think about in tragedies like that and other ones that, people on those days were just living a normal life. And when you look back on it, it's sad because of what's associated with it now. Immortal is probably my favorite Marina song other than Savages. Those two, I think, are actually the final, if I remember right, the final two songs on Fruit. And this was when she was still going by Marina and the Diamonds. It was like her last album under that name. Um, this song is just so like beautiful. Unlike the other songs on this list, this one isn't really about like losing someone per se or breakups or anything. This one is about wanting to be remembered. Um, you know, wanting to mean something in somebody's life and not just like a romantic partner, but just like about the mark you leave on the world. It opens up with, I want to be immortal, like a god in the sky, like a silk flower that's never gonna die. I want to stay forever in your heart. We'll always be together from the end to the start. And then it goes into the bridge and the chorus. That's what we do it for, to reserve a place in history. It's just a part of the human race. And then the chorus is absolutely beautiful. I'm forever chasing time, but everybody dies. If I could buy forever at a price, I would buy it twice. But if the world ends in fire and the seas are frozen in time, there'll be just one survivor, the memory that I was yours and you were mine. I also love when you lose somebody, they always leave too soon, but a memory can make a flower bloom. So that is the list of just some of the songs that I find lyrically haunting, lyrics that really draw me in. I also love the music with these, but it's the lyrics that really stand out. I hope you enjoyed this video, enjoyed my rambling, and getting to know my music taste. I will ask you guys, if you did make it to the end of this video, to leave some sort of comment, because it feels like YouTube, again, is not putting out my videos. Not all of them have tags, but even the ones I do put tags on, it doesn't really seem to matter. So let me know if you actually saw this video, and if you like any of these songs, and what songs lyrics drew you in. Anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.